Good morning, traders, friends, fans, followers, family from around the entire globe. Welcome to Real Life Trading and welcome to the morning edition. I'm your humble host, Jeremy Alexander Newsom, and we're going to have ourselves a pretty fun day. Today should be a relatively exciting day in the markets, one that you need to be really patient on and comfortable and making sure you know what's going to be happening because there's going to be a lot happening, that's for sure. John Alonzo says good morning. Everyone's saying good morning. It is a good morning. And I believe the news, this news might be impacting the markets. A lot of you are asking like what's impacting the markets. And trade war escalating. We've been talking about since Trump came out with, the tariff, the new tariff. We've talked about this is a double top. Volume was in. I mean, in a big way. Volume came in at an all-time high. Massive move up here, and some really good pullbacks. So the yuan plunged beyond 7 per dollar since the first time since 2008. So they're doing, they're creating more currencies to hopefully help reduce the impacts of the tariff. I don't know if that's going to be a good plan long term or short term, but it's going to be quite interesting to see exactly how it plays out. And I did lose some money on on some long last night on the E-minis. And then really once it took out the 100, right, that was it. So the 100, like I tried to play long off the 100, but again, once that didn't hold, we kind of felt like it was going lower. And what's interesting is we're down huge. We're down massive. So most of the move has been captured by the futures traders out there. The trend was bearish really ever since we took out the 100, and ever since we took out, so this is the 5-minute chart. So really and specifically, ever since we took out this candle on a 5-minute chart, we've been very bearish, and we closed below that. We retested it 2 or 3 times late last night when I was sleeping, unfortunately. We did have a little bit of a double bottom right there, a little bit of a double bottom. We had a support level here from that bullish candle, but once we double topped, so I'll do it with a different color. We came in and we broke this support. So I was looking at all that this morning. We took out this neckline, this double top right here, retested it right there. That was it. So I do have a few videos out there on how to trade days like this because we are down massively, right? SPY is down huge gap down in the SPY, and it's a really good gap. So we're talking about it's down at right now 288. So we're talking a 4-point gap. That is massive gap on the market, and it is a strong gap, right? No question. You do have some people trapped, but usually we're not going to just open and just go to zero. It's not going to just open down and just the earth crumbles and everything is disastrous and here we go. We're down at zero. I don't think that's going to happen. Although we could go down farther, right? We're down 1.5%, so we could go down more. But most likely, what I'm thinking is going to happen is I'm going to draw it. I'm going to draw what's likely going to occur, but we're going to have to be really patient for a bear trade if you're going to go bearish. We probably do have a spike. We most likely do have a crumble lower, and then from there, I'll try to catch a falling knife, but I'll be as patient as I can. I'm not going to rush out. I'm not going to do anything super fast, but I do think we could fade a little bit just because we're down so far and it is a gap on a Monday. We've traded days like this numerous times before, and that's usually what happens is you get a bunch of bearish candles gapping down, and at some point it fades. It doesn't have to be exactly in the morning, it might be a little bit later in the afternoon. It could, again, keep going. I'm not saying that it's not going to be able to go lower. We can go lower. If you short, you're going to want to short pullbacks, right? Don't short breakouts, short retracements into support resistance levels, just because the risk reward, if you're trading the SPY specifically, okay, if you're trading other stocks, we can talk about other stocks, but you know, if you're trading the SPY specifically, that's what we need to do. Few people have a put sale at 277, which is still forever away, but those options will increase in value this morning, and that's totally fine. Again, I love this pullback, and I'm glad it's happening. So we'll just kind of see what's out there. But I'm going to leave that on the list, and I'm going to go look at a few other stocks. Tesla's gapping down a little bit. So I was talking about this one yesterday. We'll see what Tesla does. I figure I should keep it on the list. Very, very similar to Friday. It had what I thought was an interesting gap down, and this gap down actually got bought up. So I found, you know, that was an interesting move. And Tesla could do that again. We'll just kind of see how it acts on Tesla, but that is a decent little gap down, making some cute little moves. Pinterest is pulling back as well, right? So most of the market pulling back some. I think we all figured that Pinterest would pull back a little bit and retest some levels. I think most likely Pinterest kind of just follows the broader market, but opens, retraces down into here to some point, and then bounces. We'll see exactly how and if it moves, but what I'm looking for today is I want to look for things that are a little different than the market. So I'm going to review, obviously, broader market stocks, but I want to find something that's different than the market. So, for example, Pinterest is a bullish candle gapping down. It's not clearing a support, but it does have a different flavor than the broader market, right? The broader markets were down huge on Friday, and this thing is just waiting and being patient. So I'm going to put Pinterest on the list, just going to watch it. Square is actually a really good gap as well. So Square, although it looks a lot like the broader markets, it did only have really one bearish day, which was yesterday. We'll put it on the list. Again, most of these gaps, I would assume, are going to fade at some point today. We know the market doesn't like tariffs. We get that. We understand that. I'm actually a big fan of this gap, but just since the whole market is gapping down, right? The whole market's gapping down. A lot of things will be on short sale restriction. Square is one of those. And I'm just thinking to myself, how much lower is it going to go? So we're going to want to keep that on our watch list. I'm really, really hoping to find some bullish trades out there today. A bullish trade would be great. SurveyMonkey is also gapping down. He had a huge bullish candle gapping down, but it's doing it with very low volume, so I'll take it off the list. And a few of you did ask about Netflix. And Netflix is also down 2.5%. So Netflix is trapping some folks nicely. So again, I'm looking for, if I can find bullish candles gapping down, those are the ones I'm more inclined to short. So if I'm going to short something, you're going to want to find bullish candles gapping down. I think those, if you're going to go bearish on something, you need to kind of have your eyes peeled for a little bit more of that, right? The bullish candle gapping down so that people are trapped, right? People are losing money, and really, really just get a hang on something like that. So we have a few of those on the list. A lot of you are asking and throwing in particular tickers into the chat pane, which is great. So let me just go look through 2 or 3 of those. Here's gold. So gold is gapping up, which we figured it would. This is the hedge that I wanted to be in when the market was going down, and I got stopped out like an absolute moron. And it's too bad, but a few of you are in on gold. Now, I am in silver, so I'm not totally upset. I'm also in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, which are up today. You know, again, as a hedge. I forget the gentleman who asked about that. I think it was Jeff on Friday, but Bitcoin, nice little hedge position out there. But yeah, gold is gapping up big. So gold's gapping up to 138.05, which is really, really nice for those who are in it. And silver is gapping up a little bit, not quite as much, but it is gapping up some. And we have $16 as a final target. You know, if we ever hit that on silver for our call options. So we'll just kind of keep an eye on those and see what, see what those do. So it's nice to see those gapping up and doing their thing. LIN, someone's asking about LIN. LIN is gapping up. So again, gap ups today are going to be wonderful to watch on. This is a beautiful, beautiful gap. It does look like it gaps relatively frequently, but I like it a lot. Gap ups today are going to be incredibly strong to watch, because if something is able to hold in this market, in this gap, that is an incredible event, at least in my opinion. It doesn't mean that it's going to have to stay that way and that it's going to have to work. But in my opinion, if you're getting a gap up right now in the broader markets, that is a truly spectacular feat of strength. So there's going to be some good bull moves out there, I think. And we're just going to have to kind of wait and see what it does and how it moves and all those kind of good things. But looking good, and I'm going to put that on my other monitor right here. Okay, perfect. So LIN, got it on the list. All right, my girl Tracy wants to look at NVIDIA. And NVIDIA, with the rest of the market, is down strongly. So this limit buy that I was mentioning at 165 was the one that was at the long-term moving averages. And I was like, if you're going to get in, just tiptoe in, right? Do so softly. But this thing is gapping down all the way down to 154. Took out the trend line. You got a high wave doji. This is a massive gap down. 154.01 down 4%. This is huge. So this reminds me actually of this gap up. So it reminds me of that gap up, which was a good gap, but it was just so big. That was the day that I sold some calls against my longer term call on NVIDIA. So this thing gapping down huge. And again, if you're looking at a trade, you're probably going to have more risk reward on fades, on something that's bullish. I'm not saying you can't make money going down. I'm just going to be looking for longs this morning. I'm not saying this is an overreaction in the market. I'm not saying we can't go lower. I'm just looking for something that's going to likely bounce or go higher. Samuel wants to look at DXD, and DXD is the inverse for the Dow. All right, so DXD, this is actually a really fun inverse ETF. I've played it a few times, but it's just simply that. It's an inverse for the Dow. So just like SDS is the inverse for the S&P, this is an inverse for the Dow. So if you're playing an inverse position, right, if you want to short the broader markets, if you want to get in bearish on the broader markets, most of the moves happened overnight. And that's why I love futures trading, because you're able to capture these moves that happened last night and actually make money on the downswing. So now for my swing traders or my day traders, right, the market's opening and we're going to have all this new information and be able to see what's going on. So yeah, DXD, that's going to be an ETF that you can play on the long side today if you're looking at going short on the market. Twitter is a bullish candle gapping down. It's gapping to 41.70. So it did have a bullish candle on Friday. It is gapping down a little bit. And again, I'm kind of keeping an eye out on for some just stocks that look different than the broader markets, which is nice. So again, First Majestic, Silver, right? These companies, these are gapping up. So that definitely shows strength. Gold and silver, I knew were going to be a good hedge in an event of the tariff. And I just played gold wrong. I played silver correctly, but I played gold wrong. And some of you are still in, much, much better than I am. And I'll make sure that I'll give you a frequent trader point when you exit and you beat me on the gold trade. Let me know so I can give you that super small reward. But First Majestic Silver, yep, is definitely gapping up. And this is one of the first stocks I ever played. Still around as a company. And really, I mean, without fronting on you, this thing has moved pretty well. You know, from May it was at 561, and now it's at 9.5. You know, 9.5. That's 70% return over the last few days. So that's really, really good. All right. So really, I'm just looking at some stocks that you guys are throwing in the chat pane. ALLK, a healthcare pharmaceutical company, is gapping up just absolutely massively. This is kind of what pharmaceutical companies can do. And I have no idea how to trade this thing. So it's capping up 95%. Of course, it will be trapping some people, and it probably will run higher. I mean, I'll put it on the list just because why not? I'm interested to see the show that ALLK puts on. I don't know if it has any shorts available. It may or may not. But gapping up, you know, 94%. Obviously, a lot of shorts are going to be trapped, but also you're going to have tons of people who are excited about locking in profit. Very volatile pharmaceutical company. I'll put on the list literally just to see what it does, because I think it'd be kind of interesting. William says ENPH could be a good short. Oh, yes. I've been looking at shorting this one for a bit. It could be a good short, but it also could be a long trade, as crazy as that sounds. But I think it's more on the short side. Yeah, ENPH is, I'm going to scoot this one up a little bit because I agree with you. It does have a lot of strength, right? The overall trend has just been very, very bullish, but I would look to short it just because it's been so bullish. I think some people are trapped. So in phase, William, great call. Thank you for reminding me on that one. That's a gorgeous one. Alibaba. So Baba is gapping down, but you know, kind of small. It's gapping down to 155-ish, down 4%. It's underneath Falco's put sale, but he doesn't mind owning shares. He's done it a few times. And again, over here on the 5-minute chart, to me, things look like they're going to fade. You know, if you're playing it, this is the extended hours. Be patient. We will most likely have lower lows out there today at some point, but I'm going to keep an eye out on a fade just because that's going to make the most sense. So Baba is going to be kind of like everything else, where it's like, yeah, this is what it's doing, makes sense. Chinese stocks are going to be obviously the most volatile today. And, you know, we're going to want to put them on the list or keep an eye on them or something. I understand, and just see what it does. JL says, doom and gloom boys are back. Yeah. Okay. Lee is wanting to look at Riot. So Riot is moving a little bit because of Bitcoin. I don't know if it's going to be a good trade or not. I'll watch it. I think it's worth putting on the list because it is gapping up, right? And I prefer, if I'm going to trade a blockchain instrument, I'm just going to trade a crypto. I don't necessarily think this is going to be a great play, but I'll throw it on the list just in case because, like Lee is mentioning, it is a nice gap up. My girl Felicia wants to look at Apple, and Apple is a brilliant gap down. Very, very pretty, along with the entire market, right? The whole market's gapping down. Apple is a gorgeous, gorgeous gap. And I do think we can have lower lows. They're going to happen relatively quickly. But here on Apple, a lot of traders are in a collar or some covered calls or protecting themselves. It's a brilliant gap. It probably does go lower. We most likely have a short-term fade. But in a day like this, I do think we're going to have some lower lows eventually on some daily charts. I don't think this is going to be the bottom of the move today. I'm almost positive of that. In fact, well, again, we'll most likely open, throw in a lower shadow, have a retest, have some type of doji today. Makes sense on the broader markets. And then we have like a little bit of a rollover and then another dip if we're going to bounce. So again, a lot of tariff stuff is going to be impacting some of these companies. It's going to be interesting to see how they move. I'm not going to have a ton of stocks on the list today because we really want to focus and find the best one. CVS, it is a bullish candle. That's absolutely correct. If CVS takes out 54.93 and you're looking at shorting it, that would be a good spot. Otherwise, I'd probably move. Bruce says massive gaps tend to range. And what he's saying by that is like kind of trade sideways for a little bit. So yes, because a lot of people are just kind of scared and adjusting what they want to do. Grubhub is a bullish candle gapping down, 68.22. It's a great gap on Grubhub. So Grubhub, bullish candle gapping down. You have a very interesting pre-market look right here with kind of this weird looking candle. So we can get this kind of turned on, kind of just drawn to see. But Greg is absolutely correct. Grubhub is a little bit of a bearish gap down. So that's nice. Tony says that AEM is a bullish gap and go. Yep. So again, pretty much any gold or silver companies are going to be up today as a hedge, right? We were getting in to those bullish and gaps down on Friday and it's continuing. It's a beautiful gap. I mean, they're all going to be kind of trading that way. So if you're looking at a bullish play, if you can only go bullish on things, I mean, we can certainly put AEM on the list. And again, if you're playing only bullish, I think you're going to have fun today. I think you're going to have opportunities to buy some things on some dips. I think you're going to have the opportunities of taking some moves. Donna, I hope you're going to absolutely dominate it today because with your trading strategy, a lot of these moving averages curved over bearish, not too long ago. So I hope you're in a lot of things bearish and you're going to make some good money at open. So that's great. We're also not going to be able to get to look at everything that you guys want. Disney is gapping down. I don't think this is on earnings, but it's gapping down to a pretty bearish spot, right? White candle gapping down, a little blue chippy. I'm going to write this one down on another list, and I'll come back to it and look at it. This will make, again, if we do gap down this morning and we close down here, this is a strong gap on Disney. There's no denying that. This is a really, really good location. White candle gapping down below the 50 EMA. And with earnings around the corner, we'll see what Disney does. But this could be a fun day trade. Disney most likely going to trade like everything else. Random, broader market bullish trade. So we'll kind of see what's going to happen and kind of figure it out. Dave says, is Grubhub going to gap down? It looks like it. Yes, looks like it. All right, I'll look at one or two more because, again, pretty much everything is gapping down. It's either the broad market stocks are gapping down or gold and silver gapping up. This is pretty classic. This is very normal. We've traded stocks. We've traded movements like this, in the RLT room at least 10 times in the last few years. And we've been very profitable in all of them. You just have to be very patient, really calm, cool, and collected, and just be very, very selective on what you short. So if you short something, be selective, because I do think we're going to have a little bit of a lower low out there, and then look for some bounces at some point. Intel is gapping down, and like Jason is saying, is already working on fading, so that's nice. All right, so Intel, yes, looks good. Let me just fly through what you guys are looking at. Facebook, exact same thing as everything else. Gapping down very nicely. 184.60, gapping down into this retest gap, which I'm extremely happy is happening on Facebook. I'd probably be looking at going long Facebook on a day trade around 182.50, which would require another 2-point sell-off on Facebook to happen, and that very easily could occur. So again, just be looking for fades out there. If you're going to go bearish, be very selective on what you go bearish on. If you do play a bearish, just be in and out nice and quickly. You know, for example, on Facebook, if you took out this low and you're up an R, you know, if you go up an R and a half on a bearish trade today, take it and see what happens. Beyond Meat gapping down, I don't think anyone is shocked about that at all. This is a good gap on Beyond Meat. I can put it on the list, expecting Beyond Meat to go down to the 147-ish area. And last one I'm going to put on the list is TSN, Tyson Foods, gapping up. Beautiful. 81.89, great gap on Tyson Foods. Very, very pretty. So again, looking for bullish gaps because the market is down. JL said Tyson is a fighter. Oh, nice. That was a good one. Very good one. By the way, folks, JL and myself are looking to schedule another joke battle together at the trading retreat. So hope you all can make it and attend it. All right, let me put this on, get this set up, connecting over here. Okay, cool. So let me just go through this really quick and talk about what I like. ENPH, I would love to fade this thing. So this one does have some fadeable edge to it, in my opinion. Tesla, maybe. Tyson, for sure, I want to go bullish on potentially. Pinterest, again, nice little gap down, looks weak. Square is going to be interesting. Netflix is going to be interesting. Tesla is going to be interesting. LIN is gapping up, so I like that. Put that to the top of the list. Twitter's gapping down, right? So there's a bullish candle gapping down. ALK, I'm just going to really watch this to see what the heck it does. I do not think I'm going to trade ALK today. Riot is an okay gap up. And then the rest, we're just going to be watching. If I had to pick my favorite bearish trade, I mean, Beyond Meat is a pretty good bearish candidate because it's doing some interesting things. In phase is going to be a really interesting gap down. I'd love to see this tweezer bottom hold. And again, I'm going to be very cautious shorting a breakdown. So if something breaks down, I'm going to look to get on a pullback, and I will exit shorts pretty aggressively and quickly this morning. And again, I'll be keeping my eyes out for some long trades. And that's just because we're down so big today. Usually days like this are kind of choppy. So I wouldn't expect anything massively exciting from the market. You know, we might just open in a surge higher immediately, which is great. But I'm just letting you all know that it's most likely going to be kind of range bound and choppy a little bit. And there'll be some good opportunities to snag some stuff later. Joel said, any thoughts on the gap downs on APH and ACV? APHA, very, very small gap downs and a super, super strong bullish move. Watch them for a bullish continuation. So they probably gap down and they most likely are going to get bought up a little bit. Aurora Cannabis, kind of the same thing. I mean, again, super strong moves the other day, really good gaps. They're gapping down with the overall market because the whole market's gapping down, but they do have some bullish strength. So watch them kind of closely and see what we get. For the bulls, I would watch for a bull bounce. Yeah. So in phase, probably my favorite bear trade. Tyson is my favorite bullish move. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous move, and we'll just see how we can catch it. I love this gap on Tyson. Very strong bullish move. Probably one of the best candidates for the day for a bull trade. So we'll just see how we can catch it. Because again, it's doing something totally different than the market. And I don't think it's going to pull back that far as I'm looking for. So we'll see how it opens. LIN is also a really nice gap. So this is a beautiful gap. AEM is also a decently cute gap as well. All right, so this is a gap and go. Pinterest and thing. ALK, I mean, we'll see what it does. Riot's going to be all right. Beyond Meat is fading immediately. Spy is going to follow Mr. Squiggles. Netflix, yeah, Square. All right, cool. Tesla, we'll just kind of see about it. All right, so in phase, again, for a bearish trade is going to make the most sense, but it's already breaking down that support. Very volatile. The spread is about 60 cents right now. So I'm going to have to be a little patient on in phase. It's already down 8%. It's already down massive. Tyson, I mean, this is a very, very good gap. The question is just simply, when can we catch it? I don't want to chase, right? Don't want to chase chickens. And a wonderful gap. So we'll see if we get a chance and an opportunity to play it. It is an all-time high dividend-paying blue chip stock. So you just want to be a patient trader on this one. If we get the opportunity to go in long, cool. If not, equally cool. Let's just rest. Because again, this 84.65 is the all-time high. All-time high. Plus you have all these white candles in a row. On days like this, the most profitable traders are going to be the ones who are either A, already in a position and they're making money from the move, or they're just going to be patient and they're going to wait on something. So LIN, again, a bullish gap up. I do like this little candle that's coming in here. So this is a bullish gap and go on earnings. LIN. That wouldn't be that bad of a stop loss, actually. Nice little bearish candle. Is there a long term over here or something? Yeah, we're bouncing off the 100. That's cute. 15-minute and 5-minute. What I'm a little concerned about is just some of the higher lows, but I don't think those are going to be a massive issue. I don't think this trade triggers, and if it does trigger, it should work. Let's see, this is the 3-minute. Volume is not rambunctiously insane on this trade. LIN, bullish. LIN 190.16 stop limit by 188.98. I'm definitely gonna have to do some calculations on that one. Wrong tab, good try. Come over here, new day trade, official. Did it already pop? Oh man, that's amazing. So let me see if I can do a limit buy. Obviously there's no way I'm in on this yet. 190.16 minus 188.98 equals $1.18. 500 divided by $1.18 equals 423. So if you want to do a pullback, you're more than welcome to. That's what I have to do at this point. If you caught it on the move, cool. But I'm going to do a limit buy of 190.16 for 423. Okay, order is in. And we'll see if it pulls back. Might have to do a limit buy to catch it. Okay, so it doesn't mean it's going to fill, and if it fills, it does not mean it's going to work. But we will try and see. I'll just throw it in right here, just so we'll have it for a moment. I'll put in the exact numbers later. But LIN on a pullback, I mean, that's a pretty decent looking chart. So there's the fill. Again, does not mean the trade's going to work, but as far as a 3-minute setup is concerned, that's pretty much what I'm looking to snag. Okay, All right, so let's see what we get on LIN. You guys are in, right? Okay, so Tyson, we'll just see, because again, 84.65 is at all-time high. In phase, strong gap down. Wow, already recovered. Already recovered. And what was interesting about that is I mentioned that it could recover because it's in such a strong bullish move. And it threw in a very, very quick lower shadow. So now we'll get to see if there's a kind of a bull train that comes in on this thing at some point, which would not be massively surprising. So we're just going to wait and see. AEM. So if you're playing this one bullish, most likely you're going to do a limit buy of 541 with a stop down here. Right now, playing LIN, we'll see if it works. I mean, it's a little volatile for sure, but looking at all those, looking at the order, if we get stopped out, that's absolutely fine, but the trade has posted some candles that look like it's going to try to work at some point or another on LIN. And if it doesn't, that's fine. Here's the daily gap, right? Daily gap looks pretty okay. So we'll just kind of have to see what it does. All right, Riot is up 10%. Beyond Meat is down. So again, this is a very bearish gap. Beyond Meat, certainly more on the bearish side. I don't think I'd be actually terrified on shorting Beyond Meat, but the pre-market doesn't look amazing. I think JL is already in bearish on Beyond Meat. And again, I do like this high wave bullish candle. So Beyond Meat, I am not terrified of shorting just because that's the daily trend, that's the gap, right? That's what Mr. Squiggles said it would do, is go lower. SPY, so this is the SPY, right? So right now we're following Mr. Squiggles exactly. We're following it to the T. Netflix, very indecisive, all over the place. Square, beautiful drop lower, not surprised, right? Just be really cautious. Tesla, you fade monster, you. Tesla is going higher, and it's so interesting. All right, cool. Twitter, TWTWR, again, these are going to be some very, very interesting traps. So I'm really quite interested to see what we play, if we play anything. Grubhub obviously opened bullish with that massive, massive candle, hammer candle. So we'll just see. And Intel, working on maybe fading. We'll find out. But LIN is trying. If I turn the extended hours off, it's not that bad of a look. Again, it's a little on the spready side, but it shows me that it's trying. It really, really is trying, and it's gotten some bounces. So I'm just going to give it a little bit longer to interact with some of those moving averages and just straight up hope this one bounces. It is a little spready, but it's a good gap. We'll see if it does anything great. Bouncing off of the 100 simple moving average on the daily chart is what it's attempting to do, right? Gapping up when the market's down. The market will pull it down if the market just keeps selling off, right? But the thing is, if the market bounces, then maybe we'll get some buying that will come in. So that's kind of like the double-edged sword. Tyson just hit its all-time high resistance. So it's like, just be patient on it and let it do its thing. In phase really is going to be a very interesting play. Most likely bullish, as crazy as that sounds. High of the day break on the bulls is a possibility. AEM, so again, if you took the 3-minute high wave candle, good for you. AEM, we talked about, very strong bullish gap, right? Most of the silvers and metals are gapping up today. Gold, gorgeous gap on gold. And Tesla showing a little bit of strength. IQ short, Leonard says, and the answer to that, Leonard, is yes. So very good gap down on IQ. Short, most likely the way to play this one. IQ, I think, goes down into the singular digits. Not today, obviously, but at some point. If you're playing it, Leonard, you're most likely, if you're not already in short, you're probably shorting a pullback, I would assume. And again, Tyson, we are not going to get in bullish right now. It's at the all-time high resistance. So we just have to kind of be patient on that and see what it does. In phase energy does look more bullish. So again, if you're looking at bullish trades, which I am today, actually, it's crazy that sounds. Let me just see how these candles close and what we end up doing. But in phase, looking at more of a bullish trade on it. AEM, gorgeous 3-minute high wave candle. Tesla is just hanging on by strings. Pinterest is interesting. Again, I wanted to watch Pinterest to see what it would do, but it looks like it's going to fade, which shows a lot of strength for this gap. If this gap doesn't roll over with the market, that is a big deal. Riot kind of breaking down. Again, not in love with Riot. Beyond Meat. BYND, this high wave candle. This is an interesting play, and again, on a pullback, could be really, really pretty if you can find shorts on it. It depends on what broker you have or how you're trading it, but with new shares, you should be able to find some shorts. Could also potentially look at buying puts on a pullback, but you're going to want to be keeping a close eye on that one. SPY, SPY. So again, SPY following Mr. Squiggles really, really nicely. So again, looks like we're going to go a little bit lower, and we can keep dropping. As I mentioned, we can keep dropping. It's just be cautious of the risk reward. All right, so LIN. Let's exit 10% on LIN. LIN day trade with a limit sell of, it's trying. It says as the market keeps dropping, this one is really doing its best to hold, which I do like. I'd like to exit with a limit sell of like 190.40, just to slowly peel off a little bit of a winning trade. If we can get there, because again, it's just kind of, it's doing its best to hold, but it's not quite getting there. So 190.40, I'm just going to do a limit sell just to see if we can catch a super small little win on a partial. I wanted to do it at market, but I knew the spread's really, really intense. And again, if the market does pop, hopefully this thing can hold. I actually like the overall trend on it right now. The trend looks kind of cute. If we can take out at any point in time 190.82, we should be good to go. Should be good to go on that one. All right. So 190.40 filled. So filled on 10% exit of that position. And okay, let me do this. 190.16 by 188.98. Just gonna fill out in the worksheet. Perfect gap and go. 190. Let me just check to see where I got filled on this. Give me like 19 seconds. Okay, and then we'll go look at some other stuff. 190.15. Yep. So 190.15. 190.41 for 10%. A very small position. I realize that. But just in case it tanks or something crazy happens. So what we're going to now do is set another 10% for 191.04. Okay. Another 10% on LIN day trade. And usually I only exit 2 partials, so the next trade after that will be a full position. I'll just kind of increase the stop zone. So 191.04, 191.04 for 10% of the remaining position, and then we'll see if we can exit all at a later price. Okay, so that's LIN. Tyson is still just hanging out, doing its thing. In phase, John says he's in at 28 by 27. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous fade. I'm largely going to try to take this one with you, and if I can't, then I'll just live with myself if I miss that trade. Let's see, 25. So we might retest all the way to here. 19. In phase, let me just turn off the moving averages really quickly, or the extended hours. Yeah. I think we could pull back just a little bit more, potentially, before we get a bounce. All right, ENPH 2779, limit buy the stop loss at 2719 is how I'm going to play it. Okay. New official day trade. And again, you know, if we catch stuff, cool, and if we don't, equally cool. But that is 60 cents of risk. Okay. That will be ENPH. Okay, 833 limit order, 2779 buy. Got it? Open. Okay, and again, if I don't fill, no worries, right? I'm in a trade. It's slightly working. I don't have to specifically worry about missing it. Although, you know, if I do, again, not that big of a deal. Today is 8.5. It's 8.5. New sum, new sum, new sum, and new sum. So 2779 just in case. And LIN, we got 191.04 as a target for another 10% of opposition, just in case. Tyson was a good gap. We did the analysis. Again, if you're playing it, you definitely want to buy it as low as you can. I'm not in this exact trade right here, but if I was, I would probably go ahead and exit for an R. If you took like what I refer to as a puke order, so a puke order is just kind of throwing down a limit trade just in case it fills, just in case you get really lucky, then gorgeous. But I would go ahead and exit for an R if I was in an exact position on Tyson. All right, Jason wants to look at AMAT, and we're going to go look at what Bruce is checking out. Applied Materials, gorgeous gap down like the rest of the markets, down very strong. And a 5-minute chart, Jason's looking at 46.22. So a break above the high of the day with a stop at 45.62. I like it. I really do. I'll put it on the list. I don't know if it's going to happen anytime soon, but if it does, I can dig that. All right, so again, IQ, anything you're going to go short on, you're going to want to short on a pullback. You probably don't want to short on a breakdown because it most likely will come back to that level. Just because everything is sold off, I'm looking for trades that are buyable. That's what I'm keeping an eye on. I'm not saying we can't go lower because we easily can. I mentioned that at market open. We can certainly go lower in these markets right now. All right, easily can go lower, no question. This is a great gap on a Monday. A lot of people are trapped. You're just going to want to do so patiently and cautiously. Bruce said he got 2 R's on JNUG. Wow, well done, buddy. Gorgeous, gorgeous job. It's a great 3-minute chart. Very, very beautiful gap. I hope my analysis helped this morning, just reviewing the bullishness of gold and silver and metals and just talking about whatever else is happening out there. AEM, with a absolute sensational 3-minute candle. So congrats, Bruce. That's beautiful, man. Very happy that you took that trade. Really, really am. LIN. All right. I love these trades, like, folks. This is easy stuff, I think. Easy stuff. 191.06. Filled 191.06 for 10% on LIN. All right. So 191.06. So now I don't think we're going to lose a full R on this trade. It should be relatively impossible. And again, this is just a perfect example of when the whole market's doing something, find something a little bit different. Second target, great example. Oops, sorry, that was an in phase. Over here. How come I can't get out of there? Get out of that. All right. Oh, weird. It's not updating. That's strange. Okay. So the rest on this position, what I'm going to allow it to do is I'm just going to kind of draw it and something like this, 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 and that's when I'll move my stop once that curve happens. And then the final target on LIN will be up here, 192.13. Final to exit 80%. 192.13. Once it kind of rotates and wiggles a little bit, retests, I'll go in and be able to move the stop up and come over here, put this in here, update official day trade on LIN. Robert Falco selling puts on TWLO. TWLO, which is Twilio, down massive. Twilio's down huge. Great gap. 100 put sale, September. Okay. So Falco does not mind owning some shares of Twilio at 100. They had what I would argue is pretty good earnings, some really good increases. September. This is a great time, no question, to sell some premium on some stuff if you want some stocks lower, which I think a lot of us do, right? A lot of us want things lower. Felicia Jones got 3 R's on ALLK. Good job, Felicia. She said she also got 1.5 R's on Netflix. She's done for the day. Congrats, Felicia. Well done. That's beautiful. I'm glad you followed your plan on that one. And again, I hope my analysis helped some. I don't know if it did or not, but congrats. Really, really proud of you. Very nice retest on Netflix, right? So we talked about this morning, if you're going to short something, short the pullbacks, not the breakouts. And that was the pullback on Netflix. Shorted that high and probably exited down here, took the gain. And then on ALLK, we talked about it was very bullish. I mean, there's nothing I can say on this one. It's extremely bullish. It's doing opposite of what the market's doing. This is what you look for, ladies and gentlemen, when you are taking some trades, is you're looking for something that's doing something massively different. And this one was, right, up huge. Obviously an aggressive trade, but you all know that Felicia managed her risk. Right, worst case scenario, she was going to lose an R. That's worst case. Someone once told me sometimes you have to take trades. I forget who that person was, but some really sound advice. In phase energy, we have open. So this is still an open official order. I don't know if it's going to fill. I know my buddy John Alonzo is already in on phase, and if it crushes for him, I couldn't be happier. Tyson, we're going to be very patient on, but that puke order was a thing of beauty. AEM already made its target. Pinterest is holding strong. That's incredible that Pinterest is holding as well as it is today. Riot, I'm going to go ahead and just take Riot off the list. Again, folks, if you're a blockchain believer, buy Bitcoin, not anything else. That's just my opinion, right? It's my opinion because I'm very, very bullish on Bitcoin, but I think you all know that. Jim is out of some puts that he bought on Amazon for 13 Rs. Jim, you dirty dog. You animal. He says just one contract. That's all it takes sometimes, man. Huge gap down. And look at Amazon recovering. This is beautiful. A very nice recovery. Solid gap down. Fantastic trap. I'm really proud of you, Jim. Protect those profits, man. Already in August, you were up massively from just what you've been posting. So collect and protect, okay? Don't give it all back. Don't give it all back. Take the money, do something exciting with it. AMAT. Not much happening right now on AMAT. So again, a break of the high today is cool. IQ, I do think it looks better as a short trade, but again, you're certainly going to want to short a pullback. It is a good gap, and I do think IQ can go much, much lower. Grubhub is not bearish. So it did gap down, right? It gapped down, but look at this hammer candle. Look at this hammer candle on Grubhub. I mean, you can't be bearish after this thing. I didn't trade Grubhub today, obviously, as you guys all know. But entry there, stop there. That's the way to play Grubhub. Very simple. GW says, Jeremy, please explain why it's good to trade a stock that is doing something different than the overall market. I thought the general practice was to trade in the direction of the trend. So GW, we are day trading, right? So in day trading, if the whole market is doing something, what that means is if you're day trading, you're looking to do something different than the broader markets. Because the whole market, if the entire market is gapping down massively, you are going to want to look for the trade that's gapping up, the stock that's moving up. Let's talk about the psychology of why that is. The psychology behind that is if a trade is up when the whole market is down, how do you think people who are in that stock, how do you think they feel? They feel like a wizard, right? They're like, look at me, I'm the best stock picker of all time. I'm in the one thing that's up when the whole market is down. Let me add to this position. And then other people go, let me add to this position. Let me add to the stock because obviously it's strong. When the whole market is down, this thing is strong. Let me add to it. Let me buy more. Because when the whole market is doing something, people look to do something else. People look to, if the whole market is up strongly, right? If the whole market is just crushing up 2-3% on the day, then I'm looking for things that are gapping down because people then are going to be really upset. Why is my stock not up? This is so lame. Everything else is moving strongly, but the one thing that I'm in is going down. This is bullcrap, and then they sell it, right? And that selling causes the stock to go lower. So really all we're doing, GW, is we're just finding those anomalies in the broader market, and we're looking at and practicing and trying to find things that are just going a little bit different. Because as you know, the market's job is to fool most people most of the time. And if it does that, right, if it does fool most people most of the time, then it's really quite proficient at that. Its goal is to trap people. So right now, everyone thinks the market's going to zero. You might not think it because you're smart. Other people who are out there think the market's going to go to zero, so they're selling. They're getting out of all of their long-term positions right when we start buying it. Felicia says, will you be analyzing Bitcoin today? I can pull it up right now. Love Bitcoin. It's already made most of its move. Not most of its move. It's already made big moves. But in the crypto channel, I don't know if anyone else is in the crypto channel, but I was telling everyone that I was adding to my positions right here on July 31st. And I mentioned that they should probably do the same. Just in case you're like, no way, Newsom, you definitely did not do that. Let's just come back over to Wednesday, July 31st. If you can, add at these levels. I'm transferring more USD in now. Had to wait for the end of the trading month. And then, again, a solid time to accumulate. We're just looking through, this was July 30th. So July 30th and July 31st, I was just putting a lot of work into the charts and was accumulating some Bitcoin on July 30th and July 31st. So since then, we're already up 20%. And long term, just a beautiful, beautiful move. Dave says, what time is Mentorship Monday? Pretty much right now, my good friend, pretty much right now. So I'm going to do more in-depth instructions in just a moment, but I am out of this particular position. Let me just make sure I'm out of it. All right. What a great trade, team. What a great trade. Bruce says, good on you, Jer. Thanks, man. Jay says, thanks for the R's on Lynn. My pleasure. That was beautiful. So not quite a full 2 R's, but that's okay. I got R's to spare at this point. Right, so that is a solid R&a. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, that's $754 in 32 minutes. That's a solid hourly rate. Type in a 1 if that's pretty exciting stuff. Yeah, I think that's gorgeous. And again, if you played for higher, if you did more, I'm always a little bit more conservative on the microphone. I'm always a little more conservative just because I know a lot of people are going to be doing the trade and a lot of people are in it. And, it is scary to be in bullish when the whole market's just absolutely crapping its pants. But that's always the way I look to play it, right? If the whole market's doing something, I'm looking at doing something different. So that was a one and done for me right now. In phase energy, I will leave it open for a little bit longer, but I think John Alonzo probably just took a small position off the table right here. Let me come back over to Slack and tell everyone final target hit on LIN day trade. Gorgeous job, team. Gorgeous, gorgeous job. Okay, it could have been more. I thought about making the target a little bit higher when it was just crushing. I could have gotten I could have made more on this trade, but that's all right. You can always make more. Your brain will always find reasons. That one though, I think I could have. That was a beautiful trade. Really gorgeous move. All right. Let me just go look at in phase. Tyson. So Tyson going a little bit higher. AEM already hit its 2 R's. Tesla's just doing its thing. I am allowed to take another trade today, but it's going to have to be kind of flawless. Beyond Meat is squeezing. Really good reversal. So that one would have stopped me out if I played it short. I did not. Right, would have stopped me out. And again, the reason I didn't short Beyond Meat, and I am recording this session right now, in case you're wondering. I am recording the session, but the reason I did not take Beyond Meat is because of this candle right here, pre-market. Daniel says he's out of ALLK for 2.5 R's. Did you short it, Daniel? I bet you did. Thomas says, would you still take 1R on IQ? Are you in a swing trade or day trade on that one, Thomas? It's a day trade. I would take 1R, yes. On a bearish trade today, if you take something bearish, in and out quickly is going to be the name of the game for today, in my opinion. In and out, take the gain, lock them in, figure out what else is next. So let's talk about this particular pre-market candle on Beyond Meat, because I would have normally shorted that one on the retest. The reason I didn't is because pre-market, would you guys all agree that's a pretty bullish candle, pre-market? Pre-market charts are relatively integral to just kind of determine how quickly or aggressively you should take trades. And what I saw pre-market was a little bit of a double bottom right here. So I saw the double bottom, really strong bullish candle come in. So if I was going to short, I wanted it to take out the low of this candle. And you might be going, well, Newsom, what if it took out the low of that candle, but the risk reward was bad, so you wouldn't get in at that point? That's fine. I don't have to take a trade. If I take one trade a day, if I just leave and I'm done, I mean, right now I could pack it up and be done for the entire day, $720 richer. Like, that's not a bad thing. I don't personally think that's an issue, or a bad spot to be in. So my thought process on it is, if you're just being cool, calm, patient, you're collected, you're taking the trades that you need to check, you're taking the trades you need to take, you're focusing on what you need to focus on, and you just do it nimbly. I think this was a really bullish candle pre-market. It looked like a double bottom, and for me to go short here by here, which again is not a massively terrible trade, what I would have done is, if I had set that trade up, when this candle came in, I would have canceled it. So let me point to it with a different color arrow so I can explain. So when this candle came in with the black arrow, right, that is the retest. So my thinking is, if Beyond Meat went above that candle, if we went above that candle, then it would retest farther than my entry. Because that is the retest, right? Nice, cute, small, little, bullish upper shadow candle. That is the retest. If you're looking at getting in on a pullback, that's it. Because if the stock takes out the high of this candle, is it going to just stop right here? And the answer is probably not. Probably not. So using some of that information to just kind of dive in and discern how you want to trade something and why, I think is really, really important to just kind of helping you understand the entries and the timing and just really the candlestick sentiment. Because again, the whole market is down huge. And as Gary was asking earlier, why would I look for something up? And that's because the whole market is down. So people are going to be putting their money into things that have strength right now. So if something is up, they're going to be looking at getting in on a bullish position, because everything else is going down. Most mutual funds can't hedge, right? A mutual fund can only buy. So all these people who are in mutual funds can't really do anything other than go long. So they're looking at where can you go long on things, and if the whole market is down and they can't short, they're going to look to put their money into names that are strong. So that's just a nice little fun takeaway on that analysis. So let me just go through the list really quick, answer any questions, and then we're going to do a little bit more teaching. Again, really good exit on LIN. I'm happy with where that played out. In phase, I'm actually okay to leave this open for a little bit. I don't think it fills, but I will leave it open for a little longer. Tyson, if you're going to play Tyson at this point, I think buying it at 84.65 or something like that makes sense. AEM was a very nice 3-minute and 5-minute candle. Tesla, again, Tesla is a bearish gap. I mean, like the rest of the market, it's not going up right And I get that. That's fine. If you're shorting it, cool. Nothing wrong with that at all. I'm just not personally in short right now on Tesla. I really, really do like this gap down. You know, the whole market's down 2%. So it is a strong gap, right? We talked about that this morning. Very, very strong gap. But according to Mr. Squiggles, this is where we should start squiggling a little bit. So far, Mr. Squiggs has called this one perfectly. Came in here, expected a little bit of a rotation. We got the rotation. He expected a rotation down. We got the rotation down. This is where we should get a little bit of a rotation higher, a little bit of a higher rotation. Next is going to be a little bit of a pullback. We're going to pull back, and then we're going to get to see what happens. Mr. Squiggles, the fortune teller. Loving this right now. Okay, and again, Amazon's all right. Amazon down strong, really, really good gap down, but it's very incredibly strong name. And if you're looking at playing Amazon, I can play something else bullish. I just have to make sure that I lose less than I just won. That's my only factor that I have to do today. Is anything I take, I have to make sure I lose less than I won. I've been waiting for a bull put spread on Amazon for quite some time, and I think today is going to be a good day to do that, most likely. We have a lot of discussions that I want to do today, but I also want to make some money for a lot of us traders. So let me look for some bull put spread money on Amazon, because we're getting into that 200 simple average on a daily. The weekly 100 is 15.98. So there's going to be some premium out there today for my option sellers and my option fans who know how to take advantage of this stuff. 15.90. Wow, that's going to be pretty solid. 15.90, 15.85 is going to be paying you about 70 cents. Which is not bad. 15.90 for that is for September. The mid price is 70 cents on a September 15.90, 15.85. So you could sell for 19.70, buy for, yeah, it's really not that terrible. It bounced off of it once before. Most likely is going to recover, but I think we're going to have a little bit of a lower move to go. Again, a lot of stocks right now setting up for bounces. I would not be excited about shorting stuff presently. Let me see if in phase can come back down to my entry, and if it does, cool. And again, if not, no big deal. But if you're playing Amazon bullish, here's how I would. 17.75 by 17.60. I have an order open on in phase presently, so I'm just going to wait to see what that does before I take anything else. And at 9:30 my time, I'll start discussing high wave candles. So we'll start talking more about some high wave indecision candles. Richard says, what do you think about Square 62.92 within a few weeks? If it gets down there, I love it. Yeah, man, if it gets down to that price, the 100 simple on a weekly chart is 61.10. So if you're going to buy at 62.92, you might as well buy some at 61.10. Because if it hits 62.92, it's going to hit 61.10. I think. I could be wrong, but that would be my prediction. So again, on Square and on pretty much anything, you're probably going to be looking for a long relatively soon. I don't think the whole market's going to have a ginormous fade, but I think you're going to have a shot at something bullish. Grubhub was beautiful. Intel didn't fade at all, so I think I can take Intel off the list. A few people played IQ bearish, and again, my analysis on this one was, hey, if you're going to play it and you make an R, you know, take it. I'll keep an eye on that one just to see how people are going to play it. My buddy Sid is asking about Apple double bottom on a 3-minute. Yes, it is. What's interesting on Apple, again, it's following the rest of the market exactly. So if you're going to be playing a broad market stock, just be a little patient because everything's going to be really, really choppy today. All right, the whole market's down big. So you have a very strong bullish candle here on Apple. I mean, it was a gorgeous, gorgeous breakdown. So if you're going to play it, Sid, wait for it to close above the neckline. So let Apple close above here, then have a deep little retest, and then bounce. So if you're buying something, you want to try to buy it as low as possible because things are on sale right now. You have things that are on sale. You just want to buy them as cheap as possible. And I can put Apple on the list. I mean, I always like looking at Apple, so why not? Again, in phase, I'm going to leave this order down here at 27.79 just for a little bit longer to see if it fills or if it does anything. And if it doesn't soon, then I'll cancel it and look at something else. This actually is probably the retest right here, this little candle. I think that's it. What time is it? 9:16. Depending on how the next 5-minute candle closes, we'll see what I do on in phase. But again, I'm looking for things that are long. Lynn, I'm 100% confident I got out too early, and that's okay. I could have just trailed my stop, but don't mind a really, really solid win. A lot of you made 2 Rs on that one anyway. AEM, again, gorgeous move. Tesla, just be really careful. The market's going to try to trap everyone into shorting. Leonard says, would you play the bounce on ALK? Sorry, ALLK. Again, it is a good gap. I mean, the whole market's down. This one up 115%. At some point, what people are going to do is realize that as the market does, if the market does start to bounce and recover a little bit, these high flyers will get some selling. So if I was looking at playing it, Leonard, my approach would be if it closes below 65, look to short it on a day trade. I wouldn't play the bounce at this point in time. It had the breakout, and that might have been its only move for the day. I could be wrong. I could be mistaken. If you do play it, just play it with a nice large stop so that you don't lose a lot on that trade. Again, it's up 115%. Some people are going to lock in some profits at some point, and it'll be a little bit choppy here for a little while. Beyond Meat doing its thing, Netflix hanging out, SPY squigging where the squig said it would squig. Square does look a little bit bullish. Twitter, I can probably take Twitter off the list. I don't think I'm going to trade this one. I mean, it could fade. It was a strong bearish gap and go. And again, this is a beautiful pre-market setup. So let's talk about really quick, since it is Mentorship Monday, we've already made money on the day. Let's just simply discuss, we'll make sure I exit this trade on the worksheet really quick. Not that it matters, I just want to make sure that we're 192.13. Trades. Okay. 192.22 is where I got out. Oh, not 343 shares. That's my shares. Hold on 1 second. 254 minus 25 minus 23, 206. All right, that looks right. Almost exactly perfect. All right, so the reason I'm bringing it up, I want to talk about the pre-market on 3 of these stocks and just kind of discuss the difference between the two. And Daria, apologies, I'll have to answer that one later. And the good news is I recorded it, so you'll get to hear my thoughts on the SPY before the market opens. Because yes, I do think it's going to go a little bit lower. and then start bouncing. Chad says, if you expect a broader market bounce, does that mean you expect gold to drop later today? Potentially. Again, I mean, the whole market will bounce at some level. I just don't know what time it's going to happen today or if it's later. This is a very good gap in the market. We can easily go lower. All right, I was talking about that all morning. So we can certainly go lower in the SPY and the broader markets. This is a very, very good gap for a Monday. Exceptionally good gap. It's just the risk to reward on going short on a broad market stock like Apple, Nvidia, or SPY. The risk reward is not going to be sensational, is all I was saying. So if you short something, just be cautious about what you short. And that's what we were talking about this morning before the market opened, is the reason I was looking at Twitter and Pinterest and Beyond Meat and a few of the other ones. I also was looking at Enphase as well, but I was looking at a few other stocks, is because I wanted to find not a broad market stock, number one, but I also wanted to find something that had a bullish candle gapping down. So a bullish candle gapping down, that's what I was looking for, because the whole market was, like the broad market, the SPY, was a bearish candle gapping down. So this morning, we wanted to find things that were doing things different in the market. So I want to cover the pre-market on 3 stocks today and just talk about my analysis on those. Twitter, LIN, which we played for very handsome profit, and Beyond Meat. So these were 3 stocks that I did like this morning. We took one of them, right? We took Twitter, and we took LIN, whichever, I don't even know what this company is, and we did not take Beyond Meat because of the pre-market. So let's just discuss why. So first, over here on the left, on LIN, this is the trade that we took for a really, really nice win. Gorgeous, gorgeous trade. So number one, pre-market, you have a pretty bullish candle right here. So that's a good thing. You know, you do have a good bullish candle pre-market, and stock went up a little bit higher, and then it pulled back and it made a higher low. So before market opened, it was making higher low, which is a good thing. It's like, okay, cool. So you're making a higher low. Plus, if I come over here and I show you with the blue arrow, this candle was a little bit of a one white soldier candle. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe there's going to be a little bit of buying right there. Right? Maybe some buying will come in at this price, right? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But you got a one white soldier candle. You have higher lows. And again, we've already talked about this in depth, but you had a phenomenal gap down on the broader markets, but this stock was gapping up. So we talked about how bullish that was, and we discussed why to be looking at that bullish. And then, again, this is just the pre-market data that we're talking about. Just pre-market, nothing else yet. On Twitter, if you're looking at the pre-market, so the pre-market is, again, bullish candle gapping down, and we're just slowly going lower. All right, going lower, going lower, going lower. Right before market open, you have a bullish candle, shaved top candle with a, lower low, lower high. So the trend is still bearish. And then at market open, 5 minutes, you get a really strong buying candle. So very first open candle, huge amount of buying comes in on Twitter. What does the very next candle do, ladies and gentlemen? What's the sentiment on Twitter of the next candle? Dave says, are you using the new charts? This is still TradingView, Dave. But yes, I am using TrendSpider, just on another computer. Tracy said it traps all of them. Yep, it traps all of them. So all of the, here's the buyers, right, the volume, and then the candle, the bearish candle, the second candle comes in and traps everybody. So the people that it traps are the people who bought here and the people who bought here. The second candle, the important thing is it closes below those levels. That's the key, is it closes below those levels. So with that close, once you get that close, what I would have done is shorted the low of the bullish candle with a stop above the high of the bullish candle. And that is because, again, with the broader markets gapping down, if you are going to play a bearish trade, and you can use this for the future, you're going to want to look for something that's doing it a little differently. Twitter was a bullish candle gapping down, not a bearish candle gapping down. So you're looking for a bullish candle gapping down. That is exactly what you got on Twitter. And in the first 5-minute candle, right, people got trapped. It closed below the pre-market low. It took out anyone who bought in here, took out anyone who bought in here. Second candle, everything was bearish. Short the pullback, stop above the high. Boom, boom, boom. Beautiful little trade on Twitter. Now, as discussed on Beyond Meat, Beyond Meat is when the market opens, if I come over here a little bit, so right before the market opened, this to me looks kind of bullish. You know, you're making lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, and then boom, boom, boom. This candle comes in, makes a higher low. So right before market open on Beyond Meat, I'm thinking, ooh, man, okay, that's a pretty strong bullish candle right here. Strong bullish candle, and check out the low from this wick right here. Strong lower shadow on Beyond Meat. So if I draw a support line that's right around 170, some buying came in there on Beyond Meat, the low of this candle is holding strong, and it looks like a potential double bottom. So if I'm going to play bullish on Beyond Meat, I'd probably buy at the neckline of this double bottom. If I'm going to go bearish, I need Beyond Meat to close below this bullish candle, because that is, in my opinion, the most bullish candle on pre-market, because it's the most recent and it's pretty bullish. So we were talking about that as it related to this trade, right? Going bearish on this trade. This is an evening star reversal pattern, right? I agree. It's an evening star reversal pattern, and this candle is a very bearish candle, right? Maribozu candle, shaved top, shaved bottom candle, quite bearish. But this is still a bullish candle. So of an evening star reversal, if I'm going to play just your normal average evening star reversal, I need to break down below the low of this bullish candle before I take that trade bearish. So when this candle comes in, this small little white candle with an upper shadow, my thinking and my thought process on that is, okay, I really like the setup. Let's see if it breaks down below the low of that bullish candle. And then if that happens, right, keyword if that happens, then I will look to get in. Right, then I'll look to get in bearish if it takes out that low. And it just didn't. So that pre-market, those are kind of the interpretation of some of the pre-market charts and candles to kind of really get an idea and discuss why that sentiment happened the way it happened. So now what we're going to do is we did get triggered into in phase during this pullback, which I don't know if this is going to be a good thing or a bad thing. We'll have to see. It could definitely roll over, right? So this is the 5-minute pre-market chart. Sorry, this is the non-extended hours chart. So what we can see on in phase is you have this massive hammer candle. You have good candle here. You have a good breakout here. But we did trade right into the 10 EMA and then dive bombed. So on in phase, we traded right into the 10 and then got beat up. Here's what the 15-minute chart looks like. Again, really, really strong candle on the 15-minute chart. So if we go to the hourly chart, which I'm doing fades, I will look through all time frames. If I'm going to the hourly chart, I'll notice that we traded into the 20 EMA as a resistance and rolled over. If I turn the extended hours on, which is what I'm going to do now, if I go to the extended hours, I'll notice on in phase that we traded into the 50 EMA, which is this purple line, right? We had this hammer candle and we immediately got rejected. If I go to the 15-minute chart, again, all moving averages point to the bearish side. And if I go to the 5-minute chart on in phase, this is the 5-minute extended hours, all things point to the bearish side. And if I go to the SPY, we're still dropping. And again, in phase this is the daily chart. So a little bit of a high wave candle. It was a gap down, a little different than the broader markets because it was at an all-time high 2 or 3 days ago. Yesterday's candle did not make a lower low and a lower high. In fact, it was an inside high wave, indecisive candle, gapping down. So it was a little different than the broader market. We took it long, or at least I did, and immediately it's not working. What I should have done, actually, and I talked about this a moment ago, I just kind of forgot. When this candle came in, I should have canceled the bullish trade, because when that candle came in, it's almost without question at that point that if the stock breaks that candle, it's going to go lower. Right? Nice bullish high wave candle on in phase energy. That was a good little candle to hold, and if it took out the low of that candle, I knew it was going to go lower. So we're going to see if I can move the stop on this one. I'm relatively confident I can. And again, even if I lose on this trade, I will be up on the day, and that's a very normal day. Take one trade, win, take another trade, lose, and be up on the day, small. Very classic. Because this trade could theoretically work if we really start bouncing and running. I don't know how long I'm going to hold it, but we'll see. Near says, will you buy Apple and Facebook for a longer term investment or a potential swing for the next few days or weeks? Or will you wait until tomorrow to see if the market sentiment continues lower? It's a good question, Near. Right now, this is a limit buy that I talked about on Apple on Friday, was 196.17. So when you're trying to quote unquote pick the bottom of a move, right, you're going to add to long-term investments, you want to do it slowly because you're never going to get the bottom. No matter how good you are at trading, you're never going to get the exact low. It'll always go a little bit lower. So with that being the case, what we have to do is do it slowly. Meaning if you want to buy Apple and Facebook, do it in 10 to 20 share increments. Just buy some, buy 10 shares, wait 2 or 3 days. See what it's doing, and in another 2 or 3 days, buy another 10 shares. And then 2 or 3 days, buy another 10 shares and start accumulating. Because yes, Apple, I think, was one of the most obvious fades of all time with that gap up on earnings. And obviously the market's pulling back strongly because of the whole, Chinese tariff thing, and Apple is being impacted by that. But I do think Apple can go a little bit lower. I do think the broader markets can go a little bit lower because this is an incredibly strong gap. Yes, so I'm game for the market to go lower. Again, really, really strong gap in the markets. Very, very strong. How much lower are we going to go today? That'll still be, time will tell. Time will tell, but in phase, I don't believe I need to have a stop much lower than this. It really shouldn't take out the low of this candle if it's going to hold. I wouldn't think. Because I would like to protect the profits that I have. It rolled over real nicely. Figured it would. This is the 2 minute, 3 minutes. You have a bunch of bearish candles in a row. 5 minute. I don't want to move the stop too aggressively, but I also don't want it to just roll over and I lose, a full hour on this trade. So that's kind of where I'm at on this particular trade. Because again, I should have canceled it once this high wave bullish candle came in and we broke lower. That's when I should have canceled the trade. So SPY is continuing to go down. So yep, I'm gonna move the stop on in phase because it just there's no need to be in if that doesn't hold. All right, new stop loss on in phase. Good job buying it as low as possible though. On our ENPH day trade. Pretty sure I posted that one somewhere, right? Yeah, I did. Okay. Stop, move, update. 2748 on in-phase energy fade. So the fade that's not working. And that's okay. Again, this is going to be a really, really good small loss, which will still put me up really nicely on the day if I do get stopped out, and hopefully it doesn't, right? Hopefully it bounces and it doesn't actually happen. But it looks like it will. Looks like it's going to happen. All right, so Amazon is showing some really good strength today. So we'll find out. Again, any other trade that I take, if I do take another trade, which I'd be able to if I lose on in phase, I'd have to make more than I have a realized. I'd have to lose less than my realized gain for the day if we get stopped out on in phase. All right. So what we're going to do in just a moment is talk about and just discuss high wave candle sentiment. Tyson, again, one of the strongest gaps out there on the market today. Strong because the whole market is down and Tyson is gapping up. Sweet. So Tyson doing its thing. Again, AEM was a very nice gap. This is one that we were talking about this morning as a bullish trade just because it was a gap and go, right? Gold in general was up nicely and that was nice, that was good. Tesla, I do think Tesla can go down lower. Was talking about some bear call spreads on Tesla actually to try to get some just positions on some slightly bearish movements out there. And I was looking at a 270 vertical. 270, 275 pays about 55 cents. I wanted 70 cents, but now it's looking like it's probably even better. I don't think I'm gonna get 70 cents. I could have gotten 70 cents yesterday or maybe this morning, but Tesla, bear call spread, 57 cents I think we'll be able to get for it on this one. So I have a little bit of a neutral bearish position. Bear call spread. Gorgeous gap on earnings. And I do think this cute little beast goes a bit lower. And when it does, I'll be looking to do some more put sales. But for now, soft, bearish edge, shorter, intermediate term, could easily see 190 again. Right? So you got to go with the trend. If you're not a options person, you by no means have to do this trade at all. I'm just thinking to myself, let me capture some of the bearish movement with a 270 position, which is pretty high, and then be able to pop in on a put sale or something if it actually turns out that that's what we need to do. Kevin says, Tyson is an irony because they missed earnings estimate and still went up. Yeah, man, it happens literally all the time. I don't even worry about the estimate numbers with earnings. I don't even look at those for an earnings gap. Personally. Doesn't mean you can't, but I don't even read them for the earnings gap. Because what very frequently happens, man, is you get a gap on earnings and it's going to do whatever it's going to do regardless of the numbers. it's all about the sentiment in that instance. So great question, but yeah, Tyson, I mean, just because the whole market is up, the whole market's down and Tyson was up, that's pretty much why. So again, last ditch effort on in-phase energy. Again, stop is at 27.48 on in-phase. If it doesn't bounce here, which again, it may or may not, probably won't, I'll lose very small on in-phase, which is great. I like losing small. New stop. So it got filled at 27.79, and we'll see where we get stopped out at. And then we're going to look for something else. I always like to make sure that everything works. Okay, orders. All right, that's open. Got it. So again, Amazon showing a little bit of strength, but just be patient. LIN was the nice winner. And realistically, I mean, we played about as good as you could have. Tyson up, AEN, very strong gap. Tesla, weak, weak, weak. So again, we talked about Tesla's weakness on Friday as well, really specifically about this candle. Stated that Friday's candle was a nice high wave indecision candle. So let's kind of do that now. Let's go talk about high wave candles and just discuss more about them and their sentiment. I will pause this particular recording or stop this particular recording of Mentorship Monday.